Hello there, hope you're having a great day. What is up, guys, and welcome to the FPL preview for Game Week 32 here on FPL Today. In this series, and I'm going to build it as we go along and hopefully have it completely ready for next season, we'll basically go over my watch list as well as other topics in FPL and, more importantly, your questions and topics from Twitter. So thank you to those of you who did respond to my tweet earlier on in the week, and let's get on with the video. So we're going to start off FPL preview with my watch list, and this is going to be a continuing watch list throughout this season and next season as we go on game week to game week of players I'm keeping an eye on that are not in my FPL starting squad. Hopefully this way you can see the players I'm looking at and considering for certain parts of the season, and as we go on I'll tell you which players I take off, which players I'm putting in, and we can have a discussion about it in the comments down below. So we start off with the defenders, and we have a list of 5 that we're keeping an eye on at the moment. We are keeping an eye on the Wolves defenders right now, Cody and Sice. They did just keep a clean sheet in the game week just gone, and unfortunately I didn't bring in Cody, who was a serious consideration for my wildcard. I think the fixtures for Wolves are good enough that they can be considered as an option in your FPL teams. With Sheffield United and Burnley at home in the next 2, then West Bromwich away, followed by Brighton Hove Albion at home. I think the next 4 fixtures are a great time to bring in any Wolves defenders if you want to take a punt on them being able to keep some clean sheets. We then also have Dallas, of course, after his heroics in Game Week 31 against Manchester City. Now look, Leeds fixtures aren't necessarily that great for clean sheets, either are Leeds themselves in fact, but we know that Leeds players like Dallas can get high scoring game weeks when they do score 2 goals in a game. But also if they get a clean sheet and 1 attack in return, it can also be a very good game week. And Dallas is the perfect defender from that Leeds side to get those attacking returns. The next couple of fixtures are difficult though, Liverpool and Man United at home, but then you do have Brighton Hove Albion away and Burnley away and Southampton away in the final 4 games of the season for Leeds, so potentially Dallas could be a look. Luke Shaw has been in great form, so I wouldn't even be too worried about the fixtures with Luke Shaw if you wanted to bring him in. I had him and I've taken him out on my wildcard, but we're still keeping an eye on him. And of course Nat Phillips if you want a cheap way into that Liverpool side. I have Trent at the moment, but if we need cash from somewhere, Phillips is an easy way to try and get those clean sheets. Although with Liverpool, I kind of feel like I also need that attacking potential, which right now Trent is offering. Then we move on to the midfielders, and of course we had to have Lingard on this list. And by the way, the list is in no particular order, but at 6.4 million, Lingard has been on absolute fire recently. He does score some pretty amazing goals, and if we look at his XG, it's only at 3.28, but he has managed to score 5. He's also managed to get 3 assists from only 2 big chances created, but he's got the fixtures. In fact, West Ham look good against most teams right now, and he is on absolute form, and while that might digress at some stage, right now he looks unstoppable and is finishing everything he gets a sniff at. Also, Mason Mount has looked really good to me as well. He is at a bit of a more awkward price at 7.2 million, but he has looked impressive to me with 18 shots on goal, 6 on target with 9 from inside the box and 1 big chance. He has managed out of those numbers to get 2 goals. He's also got 1 assist to his name. The only issue with Mount is he's only played 409 minutes out of the available 540 for him, so that is a concern. Bowen and Souček are also good ways into that West Ham side, so if I can't get to Lingard, which to be honest, once we get past a game week 33, I probably will be able to get to him because I might transfer out one of my more expensive options out of Bruno Fernandes, Son and Salah. I'll probably be able to get Lingard, but Bowen and Souček both have great underlying numbers. If you want to see them, check out my team selection video from earlier on in the week. And then we also have Rafinha, who has just been on great form, although he does have a knock at the moment, so it's probably not best to go towards him right now, but he's definitely still on the watch list. And then finally we have the forwards, and to be honest, this was quite a difficult list to fill. I managed to get 5 players, but if I'm perfectly honest with you right now, Calvert-Lewin didn't start Monday night. Vardy hasn't looked on fire recently, although you could try and get on him before he does hit some form. And Bamford really hasn't looked at his greatest recently, and the fixtures for Leeds are a bit iffy, but Leeds then went and won 2-1 against Man City, so what are fixtures to Leeds? But the players I am interested in are Richarlison, At the time of recording this, I don't know what he did on Monday. If he did well, he's probably even higher on my watch list than he currently is. But Lacazette at 8.3 million is a standout option for me if I wanted a more expensive striker, potentially to take the place of Vidra in my FPL side. We now move on to topics, and to be honest, there'll be other sections of this series as we progress through the game weeks, but we're going to get onto the topics that some of the people that follow me on Twitter have been kind enough to send to me. So if you want to get involved next week, make sure to follow at JNO_FPL, so you'll see my tweet where I ask for topics to cover. And the first topic we have is breaking the mould. Now, this topic comes to us from Rob Jones, and he asks how to break the mould from the current template midfield of Lingard, Bruno, Salah, Jota and Son. What other options would equal or do better for the rest of the season? Now, Rob Jones, of course, comes in straight away with a pretty difficult question because those right now look like the best midfielders to get on, although it could be argued that Bruno isn't on the best form right now, not getting great FPL returns. Salah is a bit of a punt for us as he's not exactly been on fire either, but the fixtures just look so good, which is why people have got on him and Jota. Son, just back from injury, but the numbers do look decent. And Lingard, I mean, right now you probably do need to have Lingard because who knows when this form's going to stop. But are there areas where we could be getting more points? Now, I did look at Man City because, of course, they have some great midfielders, but the problem is rotation with the Champions League and other tournaments still up for grabs for the Man City side. I also had a look at some other players. People that stood out to me that haven't made the cut are Pulisic and also Matthias Pereira from West Brom. Now West Brom seem to be fighting for survival. Matthias Pereira has been given a very important role in getting goals for that West Brom side. So I would, if I was you, take a look at those players if you have access to any Opta stats. The three players I've gone with, and I know I've just said I didn't include Pulisic because of his minutes, and now I've got Maddison, who's only played 18 minutes recently, but I believe he is a starter, which is why he's been put in. He didn't start in the game we've just gone because I believe he broke COVID protocol, but we have Mason Mount as the first player we are including at 7.2 million. He has 409 minutes. Now, no one in that Chelsea midfield seems to be an absolute lock right now as a starter, so there is a bit of risk going with someone like Mason Mount, but he has played 409 minutes out of 540. In that time has managed to get 2 goals and 1 assist, and Chelsea do have some good fixtures. Now, he has had 18 shots, but half of them have come from outside the box and only 6 have been on target. Only 1 big chance, so his XG is only at 1.42, but he has also got 11 key passes with 4 big chances created and an XA of 2.27. You could take a risk on Havertz and, of course, Pulisic as well, and I think all of them could be capable of getting returns, but Mount is the one that has impressed me the most recently if you were going to go for a Chelsea midfielder. Now, the reason we've included Maddison is because Leicester are currently pushing for a Champions League place. He again also comes in at 7.2 million, which, to be honest, is a little bit of an awkward price. But when he does play, he is very important to the creativity in that Leicester City side. And I'm hoping he only got dropped in Game Week 31 because of the party that he and apparently Jose Perez went to, which meant that they didn't start or get into the squad for Game Week 31. But once he's back into the side, he of course has Iheanacho and Vardy in front of him to be supplying. So we're hoping to see a lot better numbers than of course he's got. But from 18 minutes to have 2 shots, 1 from inside the box, isn't too bad. But we know what kind of creative threat Maddison is. And then finally I've gone for Traore purely because Wolves have great fixtures, and now that Neto has been confirmed out for the rest of the season, which of course is great for me, Traore is a player that when he hits form can get some significant points. It would be a punt, but he does start. He's played 540 minutes out of the 540 that are available to him. He's had 11 shots in that time with 4 on target and 4 from inside the box. His XG is pretty low though for 11 shots with only 0.69. However, he's also got an XA of 1.21, so Traore could be someone that could break the mould for you, but it would definitely be a punt. If I had to pick one of the 3, it'd probably be Mount. Keeping an eye also on Pereira and Pulisic. I just couldn't bring myself to put them into this because I'm not too sure about West Brom yet. And of course, Pulisic has played less minutes than Mason Mount. Hopefully, Rob Jones, that's helped you a little bit. But to be honest, Until we get to game week 33, I think that mould is going to be pretty hard to break. And then I think once 33 comes, that's when you can kind of take some risks. And then the final topic we are covering today on the FPL preview, we are talking about Kane and Son and if that's enough coverage for Spurs in game week 32. And the question for this topic comes from Joe Morgan, and he asks, thinking Kane and or Son are the only Spurs assets needed for this double game week. Defensive assets can be avoided in my opinion. And then he asks for my thoughts. And to be honest, Joe Morgan, I kind of agree with you because there's only really two players outside of Son and Kane that I would even slightly consider, and that would be Lucas Moura at 6.6 million and Reguilón at 5.5. Now, I wouldn't really look at their defence because out of the last 7 games in the last 6 game weeks, they've only got 3 clean sheets out of 7. And Mourinho has this habit of making his team drop back and defend after taking the lead, which is something that really hurts to watch as a fan of football and as potentially a Spurs defensive owner when they go 1-0 up in a game. So I personally have avoided Spurs defence most of the season. Also, their expected goals conceded is at 9.51. That has to be considered that is for 7 games, but that isn't exactly the best in the league at the moment, with them being about 14th best in the league over the last 6 game weeks, although they have had an extra game over most of those sides. Also got to consider that if you have Kane or Son or both, you do have a blank in game week 33, and of course if you want to keep those Spurs assets you're going to have to bench them unless you've got a free hit to use. And 2, ideally going into that, or even better, just 1 if you can transfer 1 out for game week 33 is probably the best strategy for this part of the season. After that, they do have Sheffield United, Leeds and Wolves, which are pretty good fixtures, so potentially you could consider bringing a Spurs asset back in if they look in form. But I personally think once I've got rid of Son for game week 33, I'm probably going to stick with 1 Spurs asset, most likely Harry Kane with the form that he has currently been in. So guys, that is it for this video. So hopefully you have enjoyed this new series on the channel. Hopefully I'm going to be able to do this every single game week for the foreseeable future. And of course we will build on the watch list and on various other topics in the preview every single game week. So this should just get bigger and better as we go on through the game weeks. So if you have enjoyed this video and this video is for you guys to answer your questions, do hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell for FPL, and make sure to follow me on Twitter at JNO_FPL so you can get involved with the topics next game week. With all that being said, I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.